Okay, just stand there for a while. Stand there for a while and wait till while I make the portal. Okay, I'm just gonna leave the camera here. Okay, it's ready. Okay, now go, 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 go. That is right. So yeah. Hello everyone. My name is MJ Vilches of Doodle Notes, and yeah, right now I'll be sharing to you how I made that spark portal effect from Doctor Strange using only Blender with no add-ons, and yeah, just all Blender. So yeah, let's just do this thing. So yeah, there will be 3 parts for this tutorial. First one would be to make the portal. So yeah, start everything. Of course, you need to open up Blender. I'm using Blender 2.79b by the way for this effect, and I'm using Blender's internal render. I tried this in Cycles, but I like the results using the Blender internal more than Cycles, and I'll tell you more about why I didn't choose Eevee either. So yeah, let's do this then. So the first thing to do is, of course, open Blender, and then the most important thing is delete the default cube. So I'm just gonna set this to ortho, and then to start the spark portal, we are going to add a circle. Excuse me. And then we're going to tab into edit mode, and then just rotate the circle 90 degrees to the x-axis, x90, and this will be our spark portal. So we're gonna be renaming this spark portal. Next is I'm gonna be putting the cursor right there at the top, the topmost vertex here. I'm gonna put the cursor there using a Shift S method, cursor to selected, and I'm gonna add a plane. I'm just gonna scale that down a bit, and I'm gonna add another plane, Shift D, Z, and then scale it down right there. This is where the part of the spark particles will come out. And what I want to do is I'm just going to copy both planes, Shift D, and just move it right about here. This will make sure that the particles that will come out from the spark portal is kind of spread out. That initial spark that you see when you rotate, when it rotates, is where it comes out, and it needs to be slightly rotated towards whichever the spark portal will be rotating. And if you want to stay canon to the original effect, you'd want this to face towards the counterclockwise direction of the portal, because that's how the portals rotate on the movie. So I'm just gonna scale it around here. So the idea here is to have that the particles, to have an emitter for the particles, for a particle system that would be the initial state of the spark portal. When it starts to open, you'll see just a few particles from this one, and then the rest will turn on. So yeah, and yeah, that's it. This is the emitter that we'll be using for the spark portal. After we're done with this, we need to head over to the vertex group data tab and add a vertex group. Actually, 2 vertex groups. I'm gonna name the first one as spark 1, and name the next as spark 2. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to assign all the planes here to spark 1, and I'm gonna assign the circle to spark 2. This vertex groups will be used later to control the density of the emission of the, just to restrict some particles to emit from, Spark 1 will only emit particles for the plane, and Spark 2 will only emit particles from the circle. Next is, and so after setting up the vertex group for this, we can now add the particle systems. So yeah, I'm gonna add the first particle system and name it Spark 1. Spark 1. I'll also rename the particle settings here as Spark 1. So yeah, I'm gonna set the emission number to about 25,000, maybe about 50,000 for Spark 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna set the end later when I determine when I want it to end. So I'm just gonna set the random 1. Lifetime should be 30, I guess. And of course, don't forget to save your file. I'm just gonna save this here, separate each to a folder. So there are projects. I'm gonna name this Spark Portal. And there we go. And yeah. By the way, that Owen Vilches, that's my brother. Amazing. This is great, you say, huh? Stop watching this. You're not interested in this kind of stuff. Get out of here. Anyways. Moving on. Yeah, Spark 1, I'm just going to set it to lifetime. He's going to have a comment about that later. And yeah, just set emit from to faces. Everything else, don't touch anything here. I'm gonna set the cache to. And actually, don't need to touch the cache. Can do that later. Next, we'll be changing some settings in the velocity. Actually, the only thing we need to change for the velocity is point. I'm just gonna set this to 0.5. This will make the particle systems follow the velocity of the object, which will make the particle kind of like shoot out instead of just dropping to the ground. So yeah, that's about the only thing you need to set for velocity. You can increase to normal if you want. If you want the particles to just shoot out more, to have like to have like an intense starting velocity. So yeah. Next thing we need to change or to set is here under the physics settings, still on the Spark 1 particle systems. I'm gonna set the Brownian to 50. This will make just what it says here. It will make the particles gonna have like random erratic movements, kind of like how it looks on the original effect. So I'm just gonna also add a bit of damping here, just 0.05, and that's about it. I'm also gonna check die on hit, or probably not. We'll find out later. Anyways, anyways, that's all that needs to be done for the physics settings here. Next would be for the render. We should set the material first. So yeah, we're gonna head over to the material tab, and I'm just gonna use this existing material here, rename it to halo underscore line, and check shadeless here, and then uncheck everything here except for cast approximate. We're gonna need that later. So yeah, we're gonna set that material right here, and then we're gonna uncheck emitter so that our emitter won't be shown when it renders. And then trail count should be, actually we don't touch that. Just gonna set this to line, I'm gonna set the tail to 0.025, and I'm gonna check the speed. If we preview now, you're gonna see that the particles are going crazier here because of the Brownian motion. So yeah, it's looking good. I'm checking speed here. Makes the lines longer depending on how fast it is. So kind of giving it kind of like that effect where the light is moving fast, and you only see lines. So yeah, it's looking good. You don't really need to set the head to anything. Maybe one trail count, because I remember I think I set it to 1. And nothing else needs to be set here. And then next I'm gonna go down to vertex groups. Under density, I'm gonna select the Spark 1 vertex group, which we created lately from before. So yeah, Spark 1, the first particle system, is pretty much set properly now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create another particle systems. I'm gonna call it Spark 2, and then I'm just gonna open Spark 1 here, and then create a new settings for this, so that the Spark 1 settings won't be changed when we're changing stuff here. And then for the number, we're gonna set this to 100,000, because we want a lot of particles. We're gonna want a lot of particle actions for our Spark portal. So yeah, we're gonna select emit from as verts for Spark 2. Excuse me. And then we're gonna the velocity is good. For the physics, we don't really need to change anything there too. And then for this, there's many things we're gonna change. Actually, the things that we have to change is at the render here. We're gonna set this to halo, and we're gonna create a new material. Call it halo, and then select the material type halo. Set add to 1, and the size to 0.025, probably 0.05. We're gonna tweak that later. And then check shaded, and that's about it. Now we have the materials for the halo. We're gonna set for Spark 2, the material that we'll be using for a render here is halo. And I'm just gonna quickly set up the camera here, just so we can do some test renders. Save. Select the Spark portal object again. So yeah, halo, and then don't forget to set the density of the vertex group here to Spark 2, so that it only emits from the circle instead of emitting from the plane. So yeah, that's it. That's about it. That's all there is to set for the particle systems for me to achieve the Spark portal effect. So the next thing we want to do is make the portal rotate. And we're gonna do that by using an empty. We're gonna bring back the cursor to the center. So cursor to center, and Shift A, add an empty, a plane axis empty, and then parent is the Spark portal mesh to the empty. So Control P, object. So yeah. Now if we rotate around the portal, Spark portal follows around. We're gonna rename the empty to Spark portal controller. Spark portal controller. There we go. Or maybe we can just use SP, just so we can see the controller more. We can see the controller so that it fits here. So what we're gonna do is gonna rotate it counterclockwise. So I'm just gonna add a keyframe. Let's open Dope Sheet here for a while. Dope Sheet. I'm gonna press I and add a keyframe for rotation. And I'm gonna move to the end by pressing Shift right arrow, and I'm gonna add I can add another rotation keyframe, but we still need to set it here about -3,600 and press I here so that it's saved. And now we can preview how stuff looks like. So yeah, we're gonna want this to wait a minute. Okay, it's looking good. What we also want to do before scaling down the portal, so we want to add this light at the top as well. Shift S, cursor to selected. I'm gonna add selection to cursor, selection to cursor. There we go. And I'm gonna permit the light that we just moved there to the empty so that it follows the rotation. It's best to have that extra light there. Okay, it's going crazy because we didn't bake it yet. So yeah, hopefully things are going well though. Hopefully the stream is going well. Anyways, okay, now that we've added the light there, what we want to do, since we want the portal to like open and close, we're gonna scale it. So what I'm gonna do is going to go to frame 80. This frame 80 is where I want the portal to fully open. So I'm just gonna add a keyframe there for scaling, and then move to the start S0 to scale it out of existence, or scale it too small that you won't really see it. So now if we preview this, it's doing that. So what we want is to make the portal look like it's having that particle. We want spark 1 to come out first before the rest. Oh, actually, I think I've done a very terrible mistake here. We actually don't need to set this as halo for spark 2. Spark 2 needs to stay as line. And we don't really need the halo. Don't really need this anymore. Sorry about that. I forgot about that. So yeah, we don't actually need to change. For Spark 2, we also use line. But for Spark 2, since we want Spark 1 to be the only thing visible as it opens, we're gonna animate the tail. So what I'm gonna do is gonna go to frame 80. I'm gonna press I to the tail here to add a keyframe, and then set it to 0. So what happens is that it would be slightly visible once you start, and then it becomes extremely visible as it opens. I also want to make the tail. I also want to change the interpolation of the tail here. I'm gonna press T here on the dope sheet and select exponential so that its growth is slow and it immediately goes fast as it goes closer. So yeah, I think things are looking good. Hopefully the stream is doing well. Okay, anyways, now that we have this set up here, yeah, it's exploding like that because I'm supposed to bake it. And so yeah, that's the effect of the Brownian motion right there, that thing that's going on. And okay, it's looking good. And there we go. That looks good. That looks nice. Okay. And next would be we'll be adding the floor here for a while. Just gonna, since I didn't add any keyframe on the location, I can actually move this without ruining the other. We're just gonna move this up because we're gonna add a floor. And shift. I'm just gonna put the cursor to the center. I'm gonna add in a plane, and this is going to be the floor. So we're gonna add a collision physics to this, and then set the factor to 1 and a random to 5. This will set the particle damping factor to 1 and a random to 0.5, so that the particles would stick to the ground. It won't bounce around. So yeah, if we look at this now, just gonna move the camera. And there we go. And maybe I should add more normal to this. Nah, I think it's good. There we go. It's probably buffering. Probably, okay. And since we just want this for collision, okay, I'm not sure if the stream's health is good. I'm probably gonna have to do this again. Oh, hey. Anyways, I'm not sure if the stream is good. Tell me if it's okay. Because I am probably blabbing here, and the stream is not really going well. But yeah, anyways, we're just gonna continue. I'll just do it again later if it's not good. But yeah, anyways, we've set up the floor here, set up the collision, and next we're going to add a transparent or a mask material for this, so that it will only serve as a floor for collision, not for, now it will not be included in the render. Oh, hey, thanks Active Motion for that. I really need to know if it's okay. So if it's going well, I'm just gonna continue. And also I'm gonna be publishing this stream anyways later as an actual video, so you can just rewatch. Yeah, I actually use Blender Render for this because it's faster for me. And when I tried to open up my project file into Eevee and Blender 2.8, Blender 2.8 crashes. So I also tried Cycles, but it just renders too slow for me, and I wanted to achieve the effect faster, so I'm using Blender Render. So yeah. Anyways, the floor. I've set up a floor. This floor is only for collision, so we're gonna rename it as floor _ collision, and its only role is for collision, so that we can have a floor there. I'm also gonna set check transparency here, and pick mask and set alpha to 0, and this will make that floor not render. It's actually just it's gonna it just doesn't render the object, or the object serves as a mask. When you render and the object is in front of other objects, it serves as a mask. So yeah, that's what it does, this mask. transparency here. There's actually a lot of ways to mask in Blender, and this is one of those things, using the transparency mask. So yeah, like I said, the floor's only role is for collision, so we don't want it to be rendered. I'm setting it to mask so that it masks out any particles that falls out, so no particles should be falling from the floor there. Anyways, I'm just gonna duplicate this, call it the floor, and I'm gonna move that to a different layer, in this layer, and then I'm gonna we're gonna have to floor mask, rename that, and then since we have to select the floor, we have to select floor and delete this and create a new material. And set, I'm just gonna call this material floor, remove the specularity. Intensity of the specular should be 0 for this, and diffuse should be black. Not too black though. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna use this floor to get the light, so that later when compositing we have we can use the floor to catch the light from the spark portal, and then we're gonna use that render to add the light later for our footage or scene. So yeah, next is, yeah, that should be good. Yeah, it's looking good. Next thing we are going to add here is the portal frame. I'm just gonna tab. Okay, it doesn't work. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the keyframe for the scaling for now. Wait. We're gonna remove the scaling keyframe here so that it doesn't scale down. We're back to our default position here. I'm gonna move the camera to a different layer so that doesn't get in the way of the viewport here. I'm gonna select the empty, Shift S, cursor to selected, so that the cursor would be right there. And then I'm gonna add a portal frame. The portal frame would be, wait a minute, I'm just gonna show you the clip here that I published. So the portal frame would be that the frame of the portal, kind of like a window, the frame to the window towards the next dimension. So yeah, we're gonna create that frame right there, that circle frame, to kind of add a more awesome effect to it. So let's go back here. And yeah, we are going to add the frame. So to do that, we are going to add a torus. And I think it's just about the right size as the portal. Before doing anything else, make sure you head over here to change some parameters on the torus, and head down to the major and minor radius. These are the only things you want to edit after this, after adding the torus. So I'm just gonna scale it right about there. Yeah, I think that's right about that. I think that's about the right size. Maybe we can go for 0.03. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and also smooth shading. Actually, doesn't matter. Or maybe it does. But we're just gonna rotate that 90 degrees to the x-axis so that it covers the portal frame there. I'm gonna move it to the second layer. And I'm gonna add material, call it portal frame. And also I'm gonna rename the torus as portal frame. portal frame. And just like the halo line material, I'm gonna set shading to shadeless and make sure that it is at it's like the intensity should be like it's really white. So yeah, just add a shadeless material and we're good to go for the portal frame. And the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna control tab. I'm just gonna randomly select portions of the portal frame here. This part that I'm weight painting will be used later as the only things that the wave modifier will influence. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We're gonna add a wave modifier and check normals, and then I'm gonna set the vertex group to wave. I'm gonna set the speed to 0.05 here too, 0.05 here as well, 1.5. Let's try and preview actually 0.05 or maybe just 0.5, 0.15 may be good. So yeah, this is just to kind of get that pulsating effect for the portal frame. You can actually see a bit here how it pulsates. Adds a really interesting effect to the portal. So yeah, if you're happy with that, and I think it's looking good for the portal frame, what I want to do now is, while the portal frame is selected, shift select empty. I'm gonna parent it to the empty object. It should rotate with the empty now, and if we scale S0, add keyframe to scaling, we can see this action is happening here right now. See, everything here would just come nicely together later on when we do the compositing. Maybe I'm just setting up Spark Portal here. Now after this, we are going to need a portal mask, and we're gonna use that portal mask to mask out the center of our portal here and add, the place to where the portal will be going, the portal destination. So yeah, just gonna add a circle that will serve as a mask for our portal here to mask out the center part where we'll be putting the destination of the portal. So yeah, I'm just gonna delete scaling again, just so we still have the Spark Portal here at the default position. I'm gonna Shift A. I'm gonna add a circle. And tab into edit mode, RX90, and I'm just gonna extrude the circle inwards to close it by pressing E and then S to scale. Just gonna do that, and then for the last loop, I'm gonna press Alt M and merge it to center. Control Alt to select everything. Control N to flip the normals. And I can just actually use the portal frame material because it's just going to be the same anyways. And yeah, we're good to go. This is it. This is a portal mask. I'm just going to move that to the third layer. And we're going to do some test renders now. I'm just going to call this portal frame. Portal frame. I mean portal mask. Portal mask. Okay. So, yeah. And another thing. Make sure that portal mask is parented to the empty. Control P, object. It should follow. Everything should follow the empty now. So yeah. At this point, our Spark Portal is done. It's ready it's ready to be put into your footage. But we're gonna be doing some test renders, so you'll see what it'll look. So just a quick, I'm just gonna go to compositing here, and then I'm gonna check use node and go to render layers here, and then Spark Portal. You can create a render layer named Spark Portal and just select the first layer, because it's because the Spark Portal is on the first layer right here. Excuse me. So yeah, you're gonna, for the render layer, you're gonna select. Actually, I'm gonna explain this more later when we're compositing it to the live footage, but since we're making a quick render here, I'm just gonna move kind of fast. Spark Portal frame creating. I'm gonna select the second layer because the portal frame is on the second layer, and then portal mask, and then just select the third layer right here. Then floor, I'm just gonna select this layer. Also, we need to find the light. Need to get that light. I'm gonna change to a outliner. I'm gonna find the lamp. I'm gonna make sure that it's on the layer that the same with the floor. It's on the floor layer. So yeah. So just gonna do a quick render before I composite this into a live footage. So yeah, Spark Portal, Shift D, Portal Mask, Portal Frame, and floor. I'm just gonna do a render. Actually, one other thing. Let's set horizon color to black. Yeah, that should be good. So yeah, auto render. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use add. Input, color, mix, add, and I'm gonna add the portal, Spark Portal, and the Spark and a portal frame here. So you have to kind of add a bit of a. Actually, never mind that. Cancel that thought. And to kind of give it a glow, to give the portal a glow. I'm just gonna do this. That needs to be add, and then I'm gonna put a blur node on the one at the top, because the way the node works is that this is, if you're kind of looking at it on a layers kind of thing, this is the one that's on top and this is the one at the bottom. So I'm just gonna increase the blurriness here to get that effect, that glowing effect. Probably gonna wanna make it higher, and to reduce too much bloom here, I'm just gonna close that for a while. To reduce and to control like the opacity of the bloom, just yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just use the separate render layers so that you can individually have control to each of those elements, making things easier when compositing. So yeah. Now, as I was saying, to reduce the factor, you probably know that. You guys, most of you probably know about that already. But to reduce the factor, just have to do this. That should actually, if factor is set to 1, it's pointing towards this here, which makes which makes our Spark portal clearer. If you set it to 0, then it just takes into account the blurred one. So yeah, actually, this portal mask, you'll see later on why why that exists. Yeah, I'm just trying to add this. Okay, add. I'm gonna do the same thing here for the portal frame. The portal frame needs to be blurred so that it's not that sharp or thick. So I'm just gonna blur. I'm gonna use 200 for the one at the bottom. 50 probably. And I'm just gonna duplicate this blur. So yeah, to make things less confusing, I'm going to put everything that is Spark Portal right here. I'm gonna add a frame. Layout, frame, select everything. Select the frame last and Control P to put them on a frame. Let's label that Spark Portal. Now for the other one, this is the portal frame, the frame to our window towards the other, not other dimension, but another destination. So we're just gonna do the same thing. We're gonna group this together so that things don't get confusing. Control P. There we go. And that would be portal frame. Portal frame. And I'm gonna set this to 200. Hey, thank you so much for that, Active Motion Pictures. Really appreciate it. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep things organized here. So this is our Spark portal. As you can see here, just those particle systems going on, and this is our portal frame, which is just the frame of our portal. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to add our background first. Let's try and do that. Let's try and do our background, the world that we're currently in. Kinda, if this is a portal. So yeah, I'm just gonna add an HDRI for this. And I'm gonna head over to okay, actually I didn't bookmark it here for some reason, but no worries. Just gonna look for it, HDRI. And actually for this video, I'm just gonna show it to you real quick. Just gonna add that. I'm going to add that picture there, image at the background. So yeah, let's go back here. I'm gonna select. I'm gonna select that again. I think it's this one. And then I'm gonna use the add node, the mix node, to put our portal to our world. So we're just gonna put the world right there at the top, portal in there. As you can see, there's our portal right on our forest here. We can control the brightness of that bloom by doing this. You're gonna add let's do that for the Spark portal first. Just after the blur node, we're going to go converter and then math node, and then set it to multiply, and that kind of controls how bright this part that we blurred out. So we can just 0.15 this and then reduce the effect of the Spark portal that we blurred out, kind of reducing the and yes, I'm using OBS Studio to transition from the workflow to the video. It's actually a really cool app and it's free, just like Blender. So yeah, anyways, I'm using the math node set to multiply to control the brightness of the blur, to kind of like it acts like a bloom effect. I'm just gonna Shift D that, and actually Shift D is a bad idea. Wait a minute, I have a duplicate here now. I'm gonna X that. I'm just gonna add a math node here. So yeah, just to control, don't forget to set it to multiply, so we can control the brightness. It's not too bright. Excuse me. Now we're going to add another image, and this is going to be for our for the destination, for where we're going, or the reason why we made a portal. So we're just gonna pick. I'm just gonna pick the same image that I used from the video there. If I can find it, it should be this one. So yeah, in order to add our destination here in the middle of our portal, what we want to do is we're gonna use this portal mask. This is what it's for. I'm just gonna put the floor render layer here for a while, and I'm gonna make sure that this is added on top of everything. Our portal destination is added on top of everything. So let's put it there. So kind of move the output node there. Composite node. I'm gonna use mix for this. Make sure that this is on top. So if you do that, you'll only see our destination. So now we need to mask out only a portion of it to be shown, which is the purpose of this portal mask. So we're gonna do that by doing this. Yeah, just put the portal mask here. Actually, if we use this right now and add it to the factor, you're going to see that it did the masking. So yeah, this is the purpose of the mask, portal mask, to mask out the portal destination. So what you can basically do is, put any destination here, whatever you want. You can change this to whatever you want. You can actually change it to an actual render layer, and then put your 3D world here if you want. And this is the only thing you have to change, because we're just masking it out, making things really fast. So yeah, in order to give it a little feather or blur, you just have to blur this part. Check this out. And now it's looking really seamless here. So yeah, you can just control the feather by adjusting the blur here. And there we go. It's looking real good. Now we are going to put that on a frame as well, so that things are nice and organized. Control P, and we are going to call that portal destination. Final destination. Portal destination. So if you wanna edit, if you wanna add your own destination, you can do so by changing this part here and then connecting it there. We're also going to rename this as portal destination opacity. Destination opacity. And by the way, I'll be giving this blend file for free once I'm done with this. And yeah, why not use a road? Do you mean anything that is in the, do you mean it's in the matte thing? I'm not so sure what you mean by road. Kind of familiar, but no, I actually like using blur, because kind of gives a nice effect here. But And what I think I found a road anywhere from here. I don't know. Color keys in color key. This one's actually really easy, but I'm probably gonna explore that later if I can find it. But yeah, I think a road is for the matte thing, or if you have like an actual mask or something. But since we're using an actual image to mask our portal destination, we just need to use this blur here to kind of just kind of like the feather effect. We can also reduce that. Actually, we can actually make that smaller by adding an RGB curves here, and just putting this down, and you'll see that it's smaller. And if the more blur you do, the more blur you add, the smaller it gets. So yeah, this is how you control the size, but we don't really need that right now. So I'm gonna bring this back to 20. So yeah, also for the portal destination, portal for our actual world that we're in. If we're like Doctor Strange, or we're making the portal, and then for the world, you can just change this to anything. And yeah, once again, I'm gonna be giving this blend file away. I'm gonna be giving it away for free. The link will be in the description of the video once I publish this as a video. So yeah, moving on, if you want to change the color of the portal, what you'd want to do is actually, before that, we need to add this floor here. And before everything else, I'm gonna go back to 3D view, and we're actually going to have to bake our particle systems here. I'm gonna go to cache. I'm just gonna check first. Oh, we didn't actually scale it down, didn't we? Tell you what, I'm gonna scale it down right now. S0I scaling. And there we go. And we are going to bake that. Bake all dynamics. This should be really fast. But not that fast for mine because I am using a laptop. But anyways, just we can try and render this part here. And actually, for anything else, as you can see, that it's looking good. We actually need to open dope sheet as well, and I have to make sure that the interpolation of the empty is set to linear, so that things don't ease in or out. Oh, actually, I need to bake that again because I changed something. Bake. And then I think it's looking good. Okay, I think we're just gonna do a render here. F11. And we kind of lost our portal destination. Need to make sure that it stays there. So I'm gonna bring back I'm gonna make the blur here a bit and make it 50 probably. No, don't check extend bounds. I'm gonna bring back our portal frame a bit because it's not that visible at the moment. Just not good. Just reducing. And there we go. That's looking good, I guess. And now we're going to add the light. So we're just gonna pick a frame where, there we go. Oh, forgot one thing. Let's go back to the world here. I'm gonna check indirect lighting and check approximate and leave everything else. So that way, we get the light from our from our spark portal here. So I'm just gonna do that and render, and then to add the light from the portal, we are going to add the floor. We're gonna mix that with our background using add. Get this, put it there, and that should have a. I'm just gonna try and mute this for a while. Am I muting the right one? Mute. And that should have a nice effect on the light on the floor there. It's not that visible because of the many particles in our scene here. Actually, we're gonna go to Spark 1. We're gonna free all bakes, and I'm gonna check die on hit so that there's not too many particles on the floor there, just to limit the amount of particles on the floor. Yeah, baking that again. And it should be good. And we are getting stuck here. So yeah, I think that's good. Looking good. So now, what we want to do is change the color of our Spark portal, because the Spark portal is not supposed to be white. It's supposed to be kind of orange. So to do that, we are going to use the RGB curves node. And because of this method, we can actually have a portal that can be a color red or green. Or green. We can have a green portal, or we can have a blue portal, or violet, or purple portal. See, and blue portal. I actually really love this method of being able to change the portal's color like that. But we want the portal to stay canon, so we are gonna use an orange, kind of orange yellow portal. Orange. So to create an orange yellow portal, we are going to up the red and green a bit, more on red, I think. So yeah, I think this is great. That's looking good. And it's 025. And that's pretty much how you make the portal, actually. But I'm not sure if I want to move to part 2, 3. I actually skipped I failed to show the bumper for part 2. But yeah, compositing to a live footage. I'm not sure if I have to add it. If I want to add it here, we're about an hour already. And yeah, this is pretty much it. This is how I made a portal for that video that I made with the portal. For this, it's not moving anymore. Let's try and fix that. And there we go. That's how I did it. This is how is as of this moment to create this. I just showed you how to do it. So I'm not sure if I have time to move on to the next step, which is to composite our portal into an actual live footage to achieve the VFX that I did, where I put a portal. I created a portal to Disneyland. Should we keep going? Or maybe I'll do it as a part 2 kind of thing. But yeah, this is it. This is the setup to create the portal. I'm just gonna make things organized here by doing some color coding. Set portal destination portal destination color to blue, and this is going to control the opacity of our Spark portal. So we're gonna call it Spark portal opacity, and we are going to set the color to orange, kind of light orange. And let's just keep things nice and organized. Put that there. on destination. Oh boy. And now, hey there, Rakesh Kerbit. And yeah, I'm actually not sure if I want to continue. I'm probably out of time. And for I'm probably gonna have to explore that abstract motion thing. But yeah, should I move on? Maybe I can try and add this portal to an actual live footage. Or probably not. Anyways, let's just try and continue here. Light opacity, because this controls the opacity of our light. I'm just gonna set this to color yellow. So yeah, I'm gonna be giving away this blend file for you to explore. So yeah, that's pretty much it. A nice, simple setup to create a Doctor Strange portal effect. Just doing another render. And yeah, if you are actually going to try this effect, feel free to change some settings if you want. And yeah, just experiment on things, experiment on a lot of things. And yeah, I guess this is it for part 1. This is going to be part 1 of the tutorial, because part 2 I'm going to be sharing how I composited this Doctor Strange portal effect into a live footage. I will do that on a separate video. So yeah, thanks so much to the few people who watched this. But then again, I'll be publishing this as an actual video on my channel. And I'm probably going to be editing some parts out, probably. But we'll see if I can. And yeah, for my render, I'm actually not using a really great graphics card. I'm using a laptop for all this. So yeah, that's why I'm only using Blender Render to make things lighter. And yeah, I don't really have a very powerful PC or something. I'm doing this all on a laptop. So yeah, that's just it. So if you have like a very powerful computer, this method is going to be extremely fast. You can just render this stuff faster than me if you have a powerful computer. But yeah, and I think I'm going to end it all here now. Thanks for watching, all of you. Only 2 of you. Doesn't matter, because this will be published later. So yeah, anyways, that is all. Thanks for watching. Just click on the videos right there. Actually, there's no videos to click. You'll be able to click that later after uploading. Anyways, thanks for watching. My name is MJ Vilches of Doodle Notes. Over and out.